Good afternoon. Welcome on in to another episode of From Day One. Today we take a subset and a cow. This ought to be interesting.
Both parties are here is Mr. Learn.
And here we go.
Go ahead and call that case. This is file 202896. People versus Monroe E. Learn. Good morning, Mr. Learn.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. Mr. Mequio has appeared here this morning. Mr. Mequio, are you going to appear in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. I think we faxed over our appearance yesterday.
Or hadn't made it to the file yet, but maybe it's in on-base and I didn't see it. And I'm glad you're here. This is a time for sentencing in a charge of livestock at large. Defendant pled to this.
I just like the charge already. It's livestock at large, which is a serious matter, by the way. But I don't know. I'm just practicing in the city. I don't get livestock at large charges.
On March 23rd, the matter was set for sentencing. There were multiple counts. I wanted to get the police report, which was telling. The defendant owns a number of business enterprises and other things, including a cattle farm out in the boondocks at Buckhorn and Muskrat Road. But he has cows there that are continually getting loose. There's an allegation that cows were loose on, at least from the Sheriff's Department reports, February 19th of 2020, 2/22 of 20, 3/17 of 20, 4/6 of 20, 4/19 of 20, 4/20 of 20, May 12th of 20, May 13th of 20, 12/15 of 20, 12/18/20. I think that's the one he actually pled to.
Okay, Judge, we can do this till the cows come home. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, or the dogs get it.
All law enforcement was sick and tired and chasing these cows around. And that particular night, there were about 15 to 20 cows out in the road in this very rural part of the county.
I don't know. I find this so entertaining. It's serious as anything. Someone can get hurt. It's not good for the animals. It's not good for people. But watching Judge Middleton try to summarize the situation is just very amusing to me.
With that sort of a police report in the file, Mr. Learn, if somebody hits one of your cows, they're going to own everything that you own. They're going to sue you civilly. Somebody hits one of these cows in the night and is killed, you can just about guarantee they're going to sue you to some considerable extent.
Well, this is absolutely true. It's creating huge liability for him. You'll see why this is happening as it goes on. But I agree with the judge's assessment of that scenario. Far worse for this guy than his criminal liability. This is just some animal control violation. Is the civil liability that's created by this situation.
So that's always a concern, is that they don't want someone to get hurt. So I have a sort of in my mind what I intend to do here, but I'm willing to hear from you, Mr. Mequio, and from the prosecutor.
Who do you want to hear from first, Your Honor?
I'll hear from you.
Thank you. Judge, the reason I got involved in this case so late is I learned about it not too long ago, but I learned about it in conjunction of some other issues that have been going on with Monty's farm and some other personal issues he's had. Unfortunately, it is difficult to establish, and we are working on that some of this stuff has been due to, if not all, and we haven't been able to establish yet, to sabotage from a disgruntled tenant that Monty had. He had to go through the process of evicting this individual. That process took quite a while because Monty decided to do it kind of politely first by serving a letter on them before seeking counsel. I think
I did that. I did that termination of tenancy case, and that tenant was not very happy. but I told her that Mr. Learn had the right to the relief he was asking for and ordered it to be out. I think they may have actually had to do a physical eviction, but I am aware there was some animosity in that case. I also watched the PPO case that Judge Pattison did, which was related to my landlord-tenant case. So maybe that gives me a little more background. I am aware of that relationship.
That is interesting. We've seen this before on his call. He does know his county pretty well. It's pretty interesting. I was up in Michigan last weekend, and I probably drove through this county, though I wasn't sure. And that's how much this is getting into my head. I'm wondering if I'm going to run into Deborah Davis, Jeffrey Middleton, or Samir Siraj Morrow Bay as I'm driving to northern Michigan. But anyway, it's interesting. He knows the background because there was a landlord-tenant dispute. So this guy had some guy out there, and now he's sabotaging his property and letting these cows out.
I didn't realize that was this place.
And what's, I guess, occurring and what we're trying to figure out how to stop it. In fact, Monty and I spoke this morning, and he told me that I think it was last night or just the other day, there was again an obvious sabotage attempt on his fence where somebody threw a wire over the electronic fence, which would shorten it out and thus make the cattle able to move free. But I've been working with him and making some suggestions as to how we can help the police perhaps investigate and stem this tide. I also, coincidentally, when the court started talking about liability, that's the first thing I told Monty was my concern that now that there's a established track record of police contact, that if one of those cows gets out and somebody hits the cow and gets hurt, as the court has indicated, there's a real concern over liability and how that will be factored into any liability case.
This is interesting to me. It's sort of, maybe I do this as a refresher. I had just been doing Bears Law videos, and they're like super crazy. This is the other end of the spectrum. This is unlike sovereign citizens or anything. The defendant in this case is charged with something that is quite serious in terms of its implications, but very minor in terms of an offense, number one. Number two, he's very reasonable. You'll see later. He's a smart guy, and he's not even talking. Number three, he hires an attorney who's also reasonable. So it's literally like the opposite of a sovereign citizen situation. It's the mellowest court appearance that you're ever going to see.
Monty is aware of the situation. He's had some physical issues that he's been dealing with, but he's still working diligently towards getting this cow situation under control. If it is a matter of sabotage, we're hoping the police will be able to help at least solve that part of it, and then that'll stop a huge part of any of the issues that we think that are going on.
Well, as I understand it, there's no one presently in the house where these cows are.
Monty, you may answer that. Do you know?
Yes. Tim is rented the place from us, and he's willing to work with his cows, and his son also. His son is about 25, 30 years old, a little slow, but they like the cattle, and they're going to be moving in here. The house is all ready for them probably here in the next week or so. But
so there will be a tenant farmer on that farm?
Yes, every day.
We apologize, ladies and gentlemen, but currently having technical difficulties here. So we'll resume part one later this afternoon. Until then, thanks for watching.